He's Daryl, the reader.
He's Mooks, the watcher.
Team Watchers, no expectation, zero disappointments.
Team Reader, we love the books, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm here for the show. Let's go. Hey, let's get into it. Daughter of the Night, and we open up with Ishmael doing some nefarious activities at the W.A.R. And he is bringing a special guest from some pit of blood. This scene, to me, is hot.
Yeah, man, this was a demonic ritual. The scene and the atmosphere was done really well, done right. It felt like something epic. However, the amount of effort Ishmael needed for that summon amounts to the energy spent for me doing 2 crunches, not even sit-ups. Just saying, that was so effortless. I'm beginning to understand that people look young and they're a lot older, so they're more powerful than I guess what I'm trying to say is that we're getting a glimpse of how powerful he is, because that was effortless for what he brought in. It just looked really demonic. And I forget the phrase he said, but it's blood for blood, right? Mm-hmm. We get to hear that towards the end as well, too. Yeah.
Blood calls blood. Yeah, so that poem that they're reading, it's a poem about land fear.
So let me cut in and give it right back to you. That poem he read, is that what the Green Aes Sedai saw?
Mm-hmm. Remember it was the note that Master Doman brought to Moraine while she was away, and she read it over and over, and Lan snuck the note, to look at it, put it in his bag when Moraine came up on him, and then they separated.
Green Aes Sedai side,
okay. So Alana saw the note. Well, actually, her warders saw the note, then sent it to her, and they all read it, and then they started looking at Lan funny,
Yeah. But tell me about this effortless summon that Ishmael just did here.
To me, it wasn't. I mean, effortless is a matter of how cool you look when you do it, right? So he's using a large amount of power, the 1 power he can draw on it, a lot obviously cleaner than any other male, right? His powers has no black in it, no taint. He's definitely stronger. He's one of the strongest male channelers ever, next to the dragon that's alive now. And so he just you're right, he made it look effortless. It's clean. I love the way it was shot. What he did, and what's funny is the channeling that he did, and you're right, he made it look easy, and I think that was kind of on purpose. That just says, hey, I just broke a seal on the board to release another Forsaken, and it was like nothing. So that's kind of creepy if you really think about what that means. That means the seals that seal the Dark One in are breaking with that little effort, and he can just release Forsaken.
Okay, so Forsaken, is there anything higher than Forsaken?
Nebulous, or it's weird. It's weird. Forsaken are Forsaken, period. They're the ones who the Dark One kind of like, who gave themselves to the Dark. He gave them access to what's called the True Power, which is different than the 1 power. That's another story. Okay. But Nameless, one who is named Nameless, is that who sits above the Forsaken, yet he's still a Forsaken. And that's just a title, necessarily. There's also another Fade that technically may sit above them. But we haven't.
So there's a lot more to the hierarchy.
Kind of, yeah. In a unique kind of way, the Forsaken are just put like that. They're like all generals, right? And then you have a Nameless who is definitely sits above them, and then you have someone who we may or may not see in the story, and I don't want to name it, but it is a type of Fade that talks. And is creepy.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And then we find ourselves in Kyrian, Moraine returning home. A homecoming that's bittersweet. A younger sister who looks like she's aged, obviously, a lot more than Moraine, just showing that agelessness of Aes Sedai and the interactions between those two and that family. Unique scenario, unique situation. I'm happy to see Kyrian. I hope we get to see more of it, and definitely some of the politics that go behind it.
Yeah, this was a little bit of a slowdown, but I think it may have been needed. I could have gone without it, but still gives you a little bit of insight of Moraine and maybe some of her human side, right? Before she was Aes Sedai. Somebody grew old, the younger sister, and obviously it looks like quite opposite, right? Moraine looks a lot younger, and it helps remind us that the Aes Sedais look young and they have a ton more wisdom than. That's a damn good perk for being Aes Sedai.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the Gildon read again in this segment, and it must be some good stuff because that keeps popping up these aristocratic scenes. I felt like this was Moraine's arch test that's similar to Nynaeve's second gate. How the wisdom had something on her chest, right? In that scene, she had to let it out. The sister had something that she wanted to finally open the dam and let Moraine know how she felt. And it's like it was the test for Aes Sedai to let go of emotional and physical bias. It felt like that was something that gets played again here, where Moraine has let go of the sister value, right? You're just another person. And like it's almost the same test for Nynaeve to let go of the family of people she cares for. They're just another person. And it goes back to again what Leandrin had said, that, you know, you hold on to the ones you love only to repeat it again, because insinuating that they will die. Back to this. The younger sister in the family is about to rank up through marriage, right? So sure gave her a little boost of confidence to stay eye to eye with Moraine now. Like, so she's been waiting for this moment. That's basically my opinion of this scene. Just remind us that Moraine was human at one point, I guess, and does have family.
So, and just to touch on it a little bit, and this will give you a little bit more of an insight on Aes Sedai alone, right? It's not just Aes Sedai that, you know, you say she treats her sister like another person, just another human, right?
Yeah.
Think about Alana with her family. You know what I mean? When she visited her family with Land and her warders, how they were very close, communal. They were sharing bread and enjoying and living life and experiencing things very differently. That's indicative of like a green Aja, right? They're definite. They're the battle Aja, but they're definitely, they live, they laugh, they love, right? That's their whole thing, right? Blue Aes Sedai are your crusaders, your zealots. They're on a mission, right? So Moraine is just being a blue. She's not necessarily being an older Aes Sedai with years of experience.
Okay.
She's just being blue. And that's literally, look, I got a mission to do. You're gonna either help me or get out of my way. You know, that's the thing what I hope we see more of. You know, like yellows are healers. You know, like the Aes Sedai do think, and because it's shown that, right? What you haven't seen are the grays or the whites. You've seen the browns are definitely bookhorns in their thirst for knowledge, right? So we kind of get that. Reds, you know, are out there to call anybody channeling or breaking tower law, specifically men. And the blues definitely crusaders on a point, like her and Suwan to a point, you know, like, hey, they were pillow friends, and then they, you know, kind of played that. Well, that's a term in the book, right? That's what it was. They were close, and so close, but then they played it so like to the point where they kicked, you know, had her kick her out of the tower. Like it is, they're on task all the time. And this right here is just another showing that blues don't play. They got a mission, they're getting it done, and Moraine is definitely doing well at that. With that said, let's turn the pace a little bit. Let's find our friends Elias and Perrin and our boy Hopper, the best boy, you know, because those two find themselves in the woods, walking away after the escape from the Shanshin, and Perrin gets to learn a little bit about what it is to be a wolf brother.
Yeah, Elias cleaned up pretty well. Good for him, man. His face was full of red juice last that we saw. I could tell that Perrin was concerned that what Ishmael had imprinted in his head, and that dramatic scene for him waking up to Ishmael. tell him that the more wolf you are, the more you're mine. I think that's the phrase he used, and
It
he
was.
had to ask Elias like about the fact that do I turn into a wolf? And Elias basically says, "Don't be stupid." He was really concerned about that. At this moment, it reminds me of the first time I understood an app that I saw on Google systems. It's similar to Google Maps, a navigator, but it's called Waze. And I was like, I didn't know what it was about, and everybody was talking about it. This is so a while back, and I don't know, maybe dating myself here, but I remember opening up that app and I was using it while I was traveling. I don't know where, but the point was that it made a noise when there was a speed trap coming ahead. It only knew of the speed trap because somebody else reported it on the app. What a great concept. And I see a little bit of this. The fact that I've got networked of wolves, and that network from all parts, wherever the wolves are, they communicate to each other instantly, and they can send these discrete information to each other. That's a solid teamwork and makes the dream work. So I really like that. I thought that was pretty cool. I think if that's a strong perk, especially if you're a tracker or outdoors type. You can't be surprised. Unlikely, right? So that's pretty cool. I think Perrin's warming up to his possibly new family, new superpowers, I guess you could say. The one, but the one thing I remember, I don't know, like some reason my mind got fixated on the steak that Elias was eating. It was so well cut, as if he got it from like Cameron Mitchell's 5-star, but only raw. Like it was just like a perfect cut steak. Where does a wolf? Why does a wolf man care to prep the steak as if he's about to grill it? I don't remember watching the Animal Planet and the lions ordering a perfectly cut sirloin steak. Elias must have had Uber Eats or DoorDash out in the woods somewhere. But yeah, I got to say though, I think here is a pivoting moments that he's warming up to his possible new family. I do.
Agreed, 100%. And by a family, I think him and Hopper are starting to bond. They both bonded over the loss of a loved one. Elias has mentioned, "Hey, we've been seeing your visions or your sendings at night. When you're streaming, off into the wolf dreams." And Perrin says, "Hey, how come we didn't come sooner?" Like, but Hopper and Perrin definitely are bonding. He's learning to communicate with him a little bit, and like you mentioned, almost like an update or a superpower, right? So that's
Yeah.
definitely a good power to have. It's funny that you mentioned tracker, because Elias, was hired to be a tracker by the soldiers, that army, and what he replaced the role of an someone who was a sniffer. And that sniffer basically was a tracker, right? He wasn't a wolf brother, somewhere in between, but
Sniffer is the book.
yeah, the book version
Okay.
of
Yeah.
well, there's a person that is a sniffer, right? So Elias is in the book, and he's just who he is, but he wasn't with the Shnans. So that was a change, but it's okay. It's a good change to make. You don't need two characters to really do the same thing. So
Sure.
I like this exchange between the two, and definitely the growth of Perrin, and that relationship building with Hopper.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and just as a note, Hopper, the name that when Elias looked at him and said "close enough,"
Hmm.
um, in the book, it was kind of described as one who jumps for the stars yet never reaches them. And Perrin
And
dropped it down to Hopper, and Elias was like, "close enough." I thought that was cool. But as we get on to the next shot, or well, let's just talk about the tower, right? A lot happened in the tower. Nynaeve coming out of the arches, after a traumatic experience, the loss of the family and her daughter. That's a stain that's left on her, not just on her dress, but on her soul. And,
hmm
Leandrin just still being a manipulative. She is just out there doing her thing, and then, just tearing at the heartstrings of Nynaeve, and using that emotional bonding to put her in a situation where we have our three ladies out in a dark tunnel, and Leandrin just takes advantage, shows that dark side.
Yeah. To Nynaeve before Leandrin here. remember the scene where Nynaeve was probably lost in her own thoughts of replaying over and over. I mean, I could only imagine that's what happens on a scarring moment like that last gate that she came out of. And Egwene comes in to give her a hug, and it felt like she was reluctant to reciprocate that hug. And finally she did. And maybe it's just to show that her psyche is so messed up that she doesn't know what's real anymore, or that moment, like it took her a moment to, you know what, I do want to hug her friend. You know what I mean? I thought that was
Hmm.
I think that was a good way to show there is some residual effects from that test. And to Leandrin, man, it's like flipping a coin. It's been landing heads a few times where, okay, she's not totally evil, and it's okay, just somebody we hate, love to hate, and then finally landed on tails, and we see how evil she can be. Like, well, what are you doing? Like, I know she told Nynaeve, let's share a secret moment. And so I don't know if that was, hey, just like Matt, I'm gonna see if you're gonna walk the path I predict you to do. She rolled the dice, and there they are in the tunnels, out on a mission, doing a little blue Aes Sedai type of, I need to do something here. And she predicts them because she cuts them off and then blasts them. So I don't know, like that just went from 0 to 1,000. Like something's up here. But again, I know she's a strategist. So does she have outstanding debts? I don't know, because there's unknown justifications here for the things she does, but she's definitely a person that I continue to love, to hate, and want to punch. Um, yeah, that's Leandrin for me, and it was cool that we saw a moment for Nynaeve to play from the same book that Elaine did, as there was a moment of, hey, shit, we're in trouble, and I'll take the rap. Like, it's on me. They I told them to come. So again, that was a mark of potential great leader to, take the fault for Elaine being there, Nynaeve being there, or Egwene being there. I thought that was cool too.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, that's definitely Naive to the point. She's definitely what we call a Mary Sue.
Mm.
So, and then we get to the last but not least, probably one of the most interesting exchanges going on in this story so far. We got to see Ran and Celine's relationship kind of grow. We got to see her, making moves that are really interesting for an innkeeper, right? You mentioned that Gildian Red again, as just the things that she's capable of doing. She was kind of obviously hiding something, right? So, what I like
Mhm.
about that whole thing is this scene right here at the end, and it's really for book watcher or book readers more. Hopefully they talk about it more in the show, but if focus on those eyes, right? There are some things happening there that are interesting to me, and you're just kind of like, hey, what's going
Mhm.
on? Obviously, she's blinking back, but wow.
But it's Rand's first exhibition. Like he vaporized a fade and gets Celine hot and wet as well too, and off to the house they go. Right. So he definitely weaved in
Hmm.
front of somebody. That was the first, and at the same time he also knows. So he does have wisdom upon his instincts, and he's emotional. There's been moments where he'll act on emotion, but he has wisdom to counterbalance that, saying that he fears the curse that he will kill the ones he loves. So he'd be far away from her. So he does have emotional connection to Celine. And we finally get to see who Celine is at the very end. Someone that can't die because she was still blinking her eyes. But They could have gone for a better Mortal Kombat fatality scene at the end there,
mean,
like fatality. But a quick stab through the heart from the behind works as well too. I sort of want to see that.
She
live.
kind of accrued a
that'd
fraud
have been
with
great.
the throat
Right.
slit afterwards. She was like, just make sure, you know. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Wait, time out.
Yeah.
She did.
She
There was a
stabbed
throat
through the
slit.
heart
Oh, I
and
didn't.
then
I didn't
sliced her
catch that.
throat, man. Yeah.
Okay, there's a combo.
two-shot
There's
kill.
a combo. I missed that combo. All right. So I'm like, that's cool. I wanted to see more, but the throat slash, that's how you know when you finish somebody off. Okay, cool. And then I feel like this last short scene is like maybe the kickoff to the football game. Like, hey, the Super Bowl just started. I mean, now we're gonna get, to some better scenes. I feel like there's a little bit of shift in okay, we're like enough development of individuals, backstory and stuff of that, and I feel like there's a lot of good stuff to come. So this is good. I like the way it ended.
Because I feel like you're right. Even in the books, it was very, character driven. It was growth individuals, and you got to put the pieces into place. Again, we mentioned chessboard a few times and making moves. This story did it really well, but obviously, now we have two active Forsaken on the field, and it can only and let me tell you, Lanfear is ruthless. So what we expect to see from her, different from Ishmael, kind of playing the old I'm gonna, control a little bit here, dab a little bit there. I'm gonna, Lanfear, boy, when she is activated, I can't wait. Absolutely.
So we're just getting started, right? Because she's pretty, Lanfear and Leandrin, both L's, man, they're very manipulative, and especially in their own way.
Yeah, definitely. And cool, man. And I for one believe that we can only go up from here as the story itself is going to grow, right? So as the characters grow, the story is going to grow. And, from my point of view, I'm very excited for scenes to come. Looking forward to next week's episode. And thanks for watching with us. Watch the flush of the freaking nerf near that slope with value. Earlier me.
Snip your music or is the shit steps at one. Search now me.
Here's how with Scrimsy.
Hurdy rough or is it?